Okay, so I just got done watching season 1 of Andor. Here are my thoughts on it. Now, I will say I did try watching the show back in the day when it first came out in 2022, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, I didn't like the premise at all. Andor, who gives a shit about Andor? He's the guy who died in Rogue One. It was basically a Star Wars drama. It's very adult, very serious. And yeah, I didn't really like it. I found it boring. I didn't want to get into it. But now that season 2 is coming out, I tried giving it a second shot, and I gotta say I liked it a lot more than the first time I started watching it, because a lot of people say it just doesn't feel like Star Wars. It isn't really Star Warsy enough. There's barely any space, barely any action. I see why everyone's a bit mixed on the show. I mean, it's not for everyone. Most shows on Disney Plus from Star Wars are kind of just fan service slop. A lot of, lightsabers, Force, Skywalkers, and just a lot of low budget shows coming out recently. A lot of slop. And this show is very grounded. It makes you feel like you're in the Star Wars universe. There's not many connections to the overarching story. I mean, Mon Mothma's in it, and that's probably my least favorite part of the show. There's a lot of boring scenes in the show. I will say that it's a drama. We're gonna get one space battle, I think, out of all the episodes, which is kind of crazy considering it's Star Wars. You can complain all you want saying this doesn't feel like Star Wars because there's bricks and screws and one guy is eating 2-minute noodles and there's cereal and someone's holding an AK-47 for some reason. I honestly don't know how that slips into the show. But it still feels like Star Wars to me. It's kind of like what The Mandalorian was in season 1 before, all the cameos came in, all the fan service came in. So I'm really excited for season 2. I liked a lot of the arcs in the show. There was a prison arc, which is really good. It shows how corrupted the Empire is and why there needed to be a rebellion. And Andor's not really a rebel. He's just a normal guy trying to look for his sister. He accidentally kills 2 people. I got very confused at one point. There's like this 3-episode arc where Andor's hanging out with these so-called rebels in this forest, and it's like a very primitive place. They're using sticks and stones to fight and stuff. And there was a guy who defected as an Imperial officer, and there was another stormtrooper who defected from the Empire. They're both black. They both had the same facial structure. They both had the same haircut, same voice. And I legit thought they were the same character. I don't want to sound racist or anything, but I was so confused whenever they're cutting back to him in the Imperial office and then cutting back to him at the forest. I thought it was like a flashback, but when their stories like intertwined, I was like, wait, what? They're 2 separate characters. As I said, I like the prison arc a lot. Andor gets thrown in jail for no reason. He just looks suspicious, and it just shows how corrupt the Empire was. We see Andy Serkis coming back to Star Wars. He played Snoke in the sequel trilogy, but he did a much better job here because he's actually portraying a physical character, and his acting was amazing. He deserved an Oscar, that guy. I was a massive fan of this dorky guy right here, the Imperial officer. He's like the main villain of the show, and he's just obsessed with Andor. He wants him dead because 2 Imperial officers died. And I got really disappointed because after the first 3 episodes, he just got fired, and then he had to chill at his mum's apartment for like the rest of the season, and her voice was so annoying.
What are you staring at?
Her voice was fucking ear-piercing, and I kind of wish they got a different actress to play the mum, because her voice just sounded mad weird, and it was kind of annoying to sit through. Saw Gerrera's in it. I mean, he's just in every other project in Star Wars, let's be real. We get an Easter egg of Starkiller's armor in the museum, which was very cool to see. We see it like every episode. It's always there in the background, which I think is really cool. I will say the show has a lot of weird, phrases and words that I don't really understand. A lot of drama shows do this for some reason, like Better Call Saul, for example. They just say, Howard, Chuck, Mesa Verde, Santa Fe, Davison, Maine. Shit like that you don't understand. And in this show, they were saying, the ISB, Kegler, Kregler. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is. I searched him up on Google, and it's just it comes up with a hologram of just some random fat guy. He's not even in the show. They keep on saying Kregler, the name Kregler, 1,000 times, and he's not even a character in the show. That was weird. I don't know what ISB means. I just searched it up and I just saw an article on Wikipedia. They really gotta explain a lot of this stuff in drama shows, I feel like. This is the type of show I feel like my mum would like, or your parents would like. It's not for everyone. It's a very adult show. We don't need to see all these Star Wars characters taking shit in the toilet, eating food, having sex. It really just goes in depth into the Star Wars universe, which if you're into that, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. The show isn't for everyone, but I liked it on the second viewing. You really got to be in the right headspace to watch the show, because if you're not paying attention, the show is just going to be garbage. That's just my thoughts on Andor Season 1. Sorry if I seem a bit off. I'm just very tired. I binge watched the entire season, so I'm very tired right now, and a lot of my words are very sloppy. So if you hated my opinion on the show for some reason, and you're typing a hateful comment, fuck you. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.